The release of Skull and Bones is fast approaching, and to celebrate the release, I think it's worth going through everything you can do in the game. There's a lot of confusion in the space, mainly because what was first advertised back in 2017 is not what's releasing in November. There are a lot of gameplay features and mechanics that fans were excited to play, but will not be part of the game. To stop any confusion, this is what to expect. But before we do get into the video, if you enjoy the content and want to see more from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every week, we upload the latest news around Skull and Bones, and you definitely don't want to miss a single upload as we get closer to the release. You will start your journey as an outcast whose goal is to become the most infamous pirate. After surviving a shipwreck, you begin your journey in one of the pirate dens. Pirate dens are where you will be able to craft new ships and equipment, provision for your expeditions, pick up contracts and socialize with other players. At the beginning, as you're a rookie pirate, you only have access to a small dhow, but as you progress, you will be able to craft different ships, each with its own unique playstyle. To unlock the bigger, stronger and faster ships, you need to increase your reputation. The reputation system in Skull and Bones is called infamy. The higher your infamy, the more stuff you unlock and the more stuff you can do. You can increase your infamy by completing contracts. Contracts are deals that you can make with other pirates in the world. These contracts can be extremely rewarding if you're successful, but on the other hand, they can also be costly if you fail. At the beginning, contracts will be the main way you build your reputation, but as you progress, you will unlock more opportunities. There are other ways to increase your infamy, such as exploration, plundering, treasure hunts, investigations, dynamic events and much more. Pretty much every activity in the game will reward you with infamy, but depending on the difficulty or risk involved will depend on the infamy payout. You can either take on these activities solo or with other players. If you go solo, challenges will be harder, but you do get to keep more of the reward for yourself. If you play with others, the challenges become easier, but the reward is split up between more people, so you will get less depending on how it's divided. You don't just need to focus on increasing your infamy, you also need to build up your resources. You will need to harvest materials from islands such as ore and wood, plus there are also animals that you will need to hunt. All of these resources can be used for crafting, whether as getting skins and meats or being refined for gear and ship improvements. You'll find blueprints as you explore Skull and Bones 7 Oceans. These might be offered as prizes for finishing tasks or stashed away at the base of treasure chests. They will be necessary for creating in the game. You may construct totally new ships, make new weapons and armor, and improve all of your ship's fittings using the blueprints and materials you uncover in the environment, whether they come from scouring shipwrecks, gathering natural resources, or hunting marine life. It will be necessary to manufacture some of the equipment and hulls with the greatest power. So you'll need to devote time to crafting and plans if you want to become the most feared pirate on the 7 seas. Skull and Bones will feature a variety of ship types, each with distinct advantages and disadvantages. Cargo ships, navigation ships, and firepower ships were the 3 categories that Ubisoft confirmed at the Ubisoft Forward. There may be other types that we haven't seen yet, but these are the main ones, and each type has a number of hull variations, so there will be many options to select the ideal ship for your playstyle. Cargo ships. The large holds of cargo ships, which are bigger and slower than the different types of cover ship, allow you to carry much more loot than any other ship type. If you take a cargo ship into battle, you won't have to leave any loot behind, despite the fact that they might not be as effective in a fight as the firepower ships or as quick as the navigation ships. Navigation ships. The navigation ships are the quickest and most agile sort of ship, despite not having much armor or hardpoints where you may attach lines of guns. In addition to being useful for reconnaissance, a skilled captain will be able to dodge enemy fire and stay in front of their guns during combat. This ship type is best employed if you have a companion who can assist you in picking up the loot after combat, because they also have a tiny hold. Firepower ships. This is going to be the ship type for you if you wish to engage in combat. The firepower ship can carry the most weapons and control the battlefield, even if it may not be as quick or agile as a navigation ship, or have the armor or hold of a cargo ship. At sea, you will need to pay close attention to the condition of your ship and the morale of your crew. If treated badly, your crew will mutiny against you. If your ship sinks, you will lose some progress and respawn at the nearest discovered den or outpost. The good news is most of your cargo will be recovered and you will be given the opportunity to recover the rest from the wreckage, but you must be quick. The second your ship goes down, other players can steal it. Linking back to crafting, you will need to use resources to create unique weapons and armor for your pirate ship. Skull and Bones offer a number of different ways in which you can customize your ship, not just through aesthetics but through core functionality. Each has varying strengths and weaknesses against incoming attacks. The overall goal is to upgrade, test and iterate your loadout so you have the ultimate combination for your playstyle. There are a lot of opportunities and threats on the open sea. This is where you will need to use your spyglass. The spyglass, very similar to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, will break down everything around you, showing the cargo they're holding, the weapons and armor type, and will also share the infamy you will get if you manage to take it down. This is where you can strategize your attack based on your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. You have two options when attacking. If you attack from a distance and sink your opponent's ship, you will be rewarded, but you will also lose a portion of the cargo as it sinks to the ocean floor. Getting close and personal by boarding your opponent's ship will maximize your loot potential, but this opens more risks, especially if there are other pirates close by. The biggest thing players want is of course PvP. You can track and hunt down other players in the open world if you choose to do so. This will give a much higher reward compared to finding NPC ships, but of course, is a lot riskier. Character customization is within the game. With the loot you find, you can travel to a nearby den or outpost and use your winnings to customize your character with the latest weaponry and clothing. This also crosses over to ship customization options, where you can change the looks of your pirate ship. These changes add no core functionality but will definitely show your experience to other players in the game. While you and your crew are exploring the seas in your ship, you will encounter land. And where there is land, you can be sure to find people living in encampments, settlements, and even pockets of civilization. The locations you encounter can be roughly categorized into forts and settlements. All of them are controlled and run by various local factions. Most will allow you to conduct trade and buy supplies if you are on good or at least neutral terms with them. The locations are further categorized into different tiers from 1 to 3. Higher tiers correlate with the types of resources and level of resistance that can be expected. If you are starting out and your vessel's armor and armaments haven't been battle-tested, you will want to stick with the lower tiers until you and your ship is more capable. As you sail around and explore the Indian Ocean, you'll discover local settlements dotted along the coastlines. Some are little more than temporary camps, while the more established ones are comparable to towns, and the largest ones serve as major commerce hubs or seats of power. Settlements are where people can conduct trade or opportunities for pillage if your pirate heart so desires. Some of the settlements are designed to facilitate the harvesting of raw resources or refining them into valuable goods for trade and export. If you are looking to make an honest living, materials and commodities can be bought and resold for trade or for your use in crafting. Merchants like to frequent these places to trade and load up on goods for transport to their intended destinations along established and predictable trade routes. Outposts are unique in that they are not suitable targets for pillaging. They are a neutral area where you can dock and repair your ship, resupply, or simply go ashore to stretch your weary sea legs. Here, you can often encounter representatives or leaders from different factions who are also passing through. There are opportunities for trade, and if you are lucky, they may be trying to offload rare crafting blueprints. Captains interested in work may also find opportunities to pick up contracts. There are stories of some outposts in remote locations being used by pirates and smuggling types to stash and secure their ill-gotten gains. Should you come across these locations, you can also use these stashes to secure your own valuables or simply free up more cargo space to keep pirating. Forts are major settlements with a large population that has access to wealth and resources. With all the money that flows into these seats of power, they are inevitably well-armed, well-defended, and have the ability to call in reinforcements. Even the best-equipped pirate ships will find pillaging them difficult. These pockets of civilization are protective of their surrounding waters and do not welcome pirates. You are not able to dock or trade with forts, and they will attack on sight. Plundering a fort will be far more challenging and not for the unprepared. The area around a fort is usually protected by multiple defensive towers. If you want the plundering to go smoothly, those and possibly other defenses will need to be dealt with in advance or at some point during the attack. Apart from outposts and dens, all locations can be plundered. Before beginning, take your time to scout your locations in case a quick getaway is needed. Use your spyglass to scout and gather useful information and scope the place out. Learn about the kinds of defenses or reinforcements that can be expected, which faction runs the place, and most importantly, what kinds of loot you will get. You could skip the whole reconnaissance thing if it's not your style, but bear in mind that you will not know what you're going up against and may end up biting off more than you can chew. After starting a plunder, there are several possible outcomes. The plunder can fail when the defenders are successful at repelling the attack by sinking our ship or you flee the area before being able to find any loot. It will be a partial success if you leave the area before the location has been thoroughly plundered. There is no shame in cutting our losses if things are going poorly and the resistance encountered was stronger than expected. You will take a hit to your infamy, but you will still have a working ship, and we get to keep the loot that was brought aboard. The preferable outcome is to remain in the area taking care of any static defenses while fighting reinforcements long enough to finish pillaging the place and recover all the valuables we could find before sailing off triumphantly. As you grow stronger, you will have the option to attack forts, plunder settlements, and join dynamic events where you take heavily armored merchant ships and their fleet of warship escorts. To make sailing slightly more challenging, players will face a dynamic weather system. According to the developers, the conditions will greatly affect the movement of the ship at sea. There will be storms that are quite capable of flooding the player's ship and various other weather conditions. This is everything you will be able to do in Skull and Bones. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more from me, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload.